Hello, and welcome to Addiction Services of Thames Valley Supportive Information Sessions. Today's session will be approximately 40 minutes, and I would welcome you to follow along with the presentation and take notes as you need to. Before we get started, let's take a look at how to connect with our services, including our counties. So we offer services in the Elgin, Oxford, Middlesex, and London County, and you can contact our agency from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. at 519-673-3242. If you're looking for just information on how to connect with our services and intake support, you can dial extension 222. If you're a current client and/or intake support, you can dial extension 284. If you're a family member and you're looking for support, you can dial extension 221. If you're looking for some withdrawal support, you can connect with extension 248. Or if you're looking for rapid access to addiction medicine, also known as the RAM clinics, you can dial extension 281. So here are some additional supports so that you're not alone and you know where to get some help if you need to. So for mental health and or addictions information or support or their crisis services, you can contact 1-866-933-2023. If web chat is more comfortable for you, you can contact reachout247.ca. If you feel like you need someone to talk to, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe you're feeling stressed or lonely, you can contact the support line at 519-601-8055. To the right of the screen, you'll notice that there's also a summary of how to connect and how to speak to somebody if you're experiencing concerns with addiction and or mental health. So we know that COVID-19 is a new illness and it can affect your lungs and your airways and your respiratory system. It's caused by the virus called the coronavirus. The following are some ways that you can protect yourself and those around you from either contracting the illness and if you're unwell, what you can do to get better. So washing your hands frequently with water and soap for at least 20 seconds. Some people like to hum or sing to the song Happy Birthday. That can usually take about 20 seconds. If you don't have access to soap, then you can also use some hand sanitizer, but make sure that your hands are not covered in dirt because it won't be helpful. If you're showing symptoms of the coronavirus, stay home. If you're not feeling well, stay home. Some of those symptoms include a fever or cough or difficulty breathing. Also, if you do need to go out into the community, make sure that you're staying 2 meters apart or that 6 feet distance. Practicing good hygiene, not just for coronavirus, but for any other cold or flu, can help protect you and those around you. Minimizing the close contact with people, so maintaining that physical distancing if there are people who are not living with you in your house. If you're interested in a self-assessment, you have some symptoms and you're curious to see if maybe you have the coronavirus, you can connect with the website below. You can also contact the health unit and dial extension 1, and they can also connect you with some symptom support. So welcome to SIS Money Matters. My name is April. I'm an addiction mental health counselor. I will be referring to my notes during this session. This is going to help me to deliver all of the information and that I don't forget any. So before we get started, we're going to do a grounding exercise. Grounding exercises can help to relax the body. It can help to focus the mind so that we can be open to improve our inner awareness. And this can help us to make positive mental and physical changes for that day. So I will welcome you to find a relaxed spot in your chair. You can have a look at this lovely warm beach if you would like. If it's more comfortable for you to close your eyes, I would welcome you to do that. Or you can look at any spot in your room around you. So take a nice relaxed position, planting your feet firmly on the ground. feeling your feet firm on the ground, feeling your back safe against the back of your chair or your seat, and your body matching the contours of your chair. I'd like you to relax your shoulders, relax your hands, and relax those muscles in your face. When you do, I want you to take some breaths in and out, any way that they feel comfortable, allowing your own breathing to set the rhythm. Whenever you have a thought that comes into your mind, allow it to come and to go like the waves of an ocean, all the while continuing your breathing in and out, and in and out. If you find that you become distracted by a thought or like paying a bill or a feeling like an itch, recognize it, identify it, and breathe in and breathe out, allowing that thought or feeling to be carried away like the waves of an ocean, allowing you to return back to your breathing. I'll give you a moment or two to practice. When you're feeling relaxed and ready to return, you can move your shoulders and move your head, right? To bring you back to the present, bring yourself back to the moment. It's helpful to practice this type of breathing and relaxation daily, so that when a stressful event happens, you can call on this coping skill because you already have practiced it. So thank you. Welcome again to Money Matters. Again, my name is April. And I'll welcome you to follow along the presentation, and I welcome you to take notes as you need to. When you hear the word money, what is your first reaction? Allow yourself a moment to think about what money means to you. For some people, it might mean a chance at happiness. I don't have to worry about money again. I can finally pay off my debts or my bills and get a fresh start. For other people, it may provide them with a sense of belonging or popularity. Okay? For other people, it may mean increased stress. Okay? Are people going to be asking me for my money? I really don't know who my real friends are. For some people, it's about what kind of risk do I put myself in to get the money that I have? Am I increasing my trauma? Am I increasing my worry? Is how I'm getting my money against the law or illegal? What are the consequences of the way I get my money? No matter what your first thoughts are about money, we all have an opinion. We all have a reaction when we think about it. So money has a very large presence in our country and our community, and has extremely high value to not everybody, but to a large majority of people. So our belief system around money, we all have a belief system that's developed and evolved since we were young children. Our parents or our caregivers were probably our first influences around money. Right? As children, our brains are like sponges and we suck up everything around us. Right? We just absorb everything in our environment. So the good, the bad, the indifferent. So we may have likely picked up on some of our parents' verbal and nonverbal cues about money. What was their relationship with money? Were they able to pay the bills on time? Was money always a struggle for them? Right? We look back in our North American culture, we quickly learn that money has so much value. When we look at other countries and some other cultures, money may have very less value. So in some cultures, goats or donkeys or services might actually be more valuable than having cash. Right? Um, our belief system is also influenced about what we watch on TV. With our community and our lifestyle saturated with media, we have access to technology and media 24/7. So we can watch movies and we can watch TV. And oftentimes, money has a high value in the media. Right? We, send, we, te- sorry, we tend to see the surface value of money. And we tend to see how much happiness it can bring to people and how much product it can purchase for people. But that's not always the case. Um, Thinking back, can you remember your first experience with money? Did you ever get a card? Open up a card for your birthday or Christmas, and you look inside, and there might be a dollar or a $2, and the people around you are saying, "Wow, this is so exciting! You got some money for your birthday." And as the child, we look around us, and we might see those people getting very excited about money, and we start to develop a sense of money brings happiness. And when we're around money, people around us are smiling. How do we challenge some of those negative beliefs around money? Right? And we'll talk more about that as we move through the presentation. It's really important to challenge our beliefs around money when we're in our recovery journey, because money, we may not have a problem with money, but money might be the catalyst. It might be the thing that gets us our drug, gets us our alcohol, or it might be the thing that allows us to gamble or purchase in-game. For some people, money might give them that sense of self-esteem. Right? What we do know about self-esteem is that's usually internally derived by our sense of self, right, and our experiences. Money to them might equal happiness or freedom and security. A story that I usually share about money is Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt. So back in 2000, they were considered the power couple, and they got married. They had all of the money that they needed. They had all of the freedom and security that they needed. And when you looked at them on the red carpet or you looked at them in movies, they appeared to have the utmost self-esteem. However, in 2005, they divorced. They had decided that money was not enough to keep them happier together. There were things that were missing from their relationship. So it's a really good example to think back on when we think money can buy us everything. If I had it, I'd be happy. If I had it, I would be set. If I had it, everything would be good. But there's many examples around us that we can look for that disproves that theory. So money in recovery. For some people, money can actually be the trigger. This means that even having too much access to money or even not enough access to money can be the trigger. So can't pay my bills, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling hopeless. In the past, what has made me feel better when I was experiencing those emotions? Oh, I know. I would go and use, or I would go and gamble, or I would lose myself in gaming for hours. That way, I don't have to think about my depression, or I don't have to think about the struggles that I'm having paying my bills. It's a quick and easy way for me to avoid dealing with these pieces. Too much. So having too much access to cash can also be a trigger for some people. Right? My bills are paid. My responsibilities are taken care of, but I have this cash in hand. I can smell the money. I can see the money. Sometimes the rituals of walking to the bank, right? Our dopamine levels are already increasing with anticipation, just walking to the ATM, taking out that money. One client has said in the past, what's worse than not having enough money? was actually having too much money, because then it would allow me free access to my addiction. So it's important to know what are some of the common risk factors to a relapse. So you'll see on your screen that money, time, and transportation are 3 really important factors to take into consideration when we're in recovery. So if all 3 of those are present, access to money or not enough access to money, time, and transportation, we are at more risk. So unfortunately, we can't always control our environment. We can't always reduce the risk. We can't always eliminate the risk, but we can reduce it. And being mindful of these 3 things, especially if they coexist together, may give us a chance to use the coping skills that we need to avoid a lapse or a relapse. So many of these ones are the easiest to control. You may not have a problem with money. Money might be the thing that allows you to get high or your desired effect. If you put controls in place, which we'll talk about in a little bit, to have little or no access to money, you've increased your chances of being successful when your urges arise. Time is another one. I know in my experience working with clients, one of the biggest concerns that they have in their recovery journey is the feelings of boredom. Right? Either getting their drug or alcohol, using or recovering from it took up a large part of their day. So now if they've chosen to reduce that or eliminate from their day, being able to backfill that time with some meaningful activity. And that can be really difficult to do. So having excessive amounts of time in your day that's not filled with meaningful activity or structured activity can put you at risk of a lapse or a relapse. So attending the SISs, the supportive information sessions, they can start your day off with the mindfulness as well as learning, so that you can take some time in your day to reflect on it and start to implement some of those pieces. Creating a predictable schedule. So human beings tend to thrive off predictability and stability. So implementing activities during your day that are meaningful, predictable, and helpful can help reduce the boredom. Transportation. How close are you to your dealer? How close are you to the casino? How much access do you have to it? It's very difficult to make changes around recovery, but one of the things that we can do is changing our bus route, right? Finding a different way to go. Maybe we walk, maybe we ride our bike, maybe we carpool. Putting those safety factors in place that allow us to make the changes that we need to do in order to avoid those risky places. So not driving by the LCBO, not walking by the beer store, changing your route so you don't drive by the casino. These small pieces in your recovery can be very helpful in increasing your chances of success. This might be a good time to set up some coping skills, opening or filling your toolbox with a few tools that you can draw upon during those stressful times to help you move through this. Remember, change is very hard work. It takes a lot of effort and energy to make healthier and safe choices. So always remember to be kind to yourself, and in recovery, make sure you get plenty of rest, drink lots of water, eat well, exercise, and practice self-care. So managing your triggers around money. So there's an event, there's your reaction, and then there's your outcome. When we work towards managing our reaction to our outcome, because sometimes we can't control the event, we cannot, but we can control how we react to the event. If we try to slow our thinking down, right? When our brain is addicted, it can manipulate our thinking to lead us towards that self-talk, that self-permission that says, oh, I'm stressed. Just one more time. I promise I won't do this again. Nobody's going to find out, right? So if we can slow our thinking down, we can choose our reaction, we can help to change the outcome of an event. So remembering that our brain is struggling with addiction, go easy with ourselves, be kind with ourselves, and implement some things to put in place that are going to help you to be successful. So decreasing access to money or cash. This could mean lowering daily limits. It could mean lowering monthly limits. It can mean having small amounts of cash on you at one time. Being able to identify what is a safe amount can be a process in itself. Being able to figure out how much is too much. Is enough to buy a coffee and a hamburger? Is that enough? Is any more a trigger? So being able to identify how much is a safe amount and giving yourself permission to kind of manage it, or kind of give yourself a little bit more, give yourself a little bit less to see how much. Identifying those high-risk situations around money, right? The birthdays. Christmas is a really big time when people feel at higher risk for lapse or relapse, especially if Christmas brings uncomfortable emotions, or if Christmas brings things like a card with money in it. You may not have been anticipating that, and unaccountable money may put you at a higher risk. Income tax returns, government money. So in a time of COVID-19, when the government is giving us money temporarily to help us manage our bills and help us manage our family so that we can still pay our rent and still feed ourselves, can actually put us at a higher risk. Budgets can help to lower those risks, and we'll talk about budgets in a second or two. Ask yourself, have you ever had a budget? What does that look like? It's not very complicated, so we don't have to go into, I guess, like retro spreadsheets, but being able to list everything that, every bill that you need to pay, and then listing all the bills that you have to pay, and then being able to identify how much money you're bringing in a month, how much you're paying for bills and all your needs and wants, how much is left over. Once you do that for a couple months, it'll give you a good sense of where you can make changes in your budget to save a little bit more here or to spend a little bit less there. It's always important to make sure that your social activities or your self-care activities aren't the first things to be cut from the budget, right? So sometimes when we're looking at making a budget, the first thing we want to cut is those fun activities, but they do have so much value in our lives. So if going out for dinner once a month, put that into your budget. If it's important for you to get your nails done, and that's meaningful to you, how do you get that into your budget? There might be other areas that you can cut back on, but once you get a couple months in, you can really start to see a pattern of spending. I know in my experience with the clients that I work with, some of the feedback that they've provided with me over the years is some of those apps that you can get. And typically those apps that you can get on your phone are free and they're location sensitive. So things like Reebee or Flip apps, so you can download the app, you can type in your specific area based on your postal code, and it'll bring up all of the stores in your areas. You'd be able to type in milk and it'd show you where milk was on sale. You could type in bacon and you could see where all of the stores that had bacon on sale. And being able to balance between going from store to store to store to pick up these sale items versus using the price comparison that they have at some of the stores, that if it's sold cheaper at another store, that they would give you that same price. So just being able to balance any of those apps so you're not spending your day running around from store to store. Stores like Rexall, Shoppers, Walmart, the dollar store. So a really quick little story I can share with you is that I would buy a specific brand of shampoo and conditioner that worked really well for my hair. So I have initially got it at Rexall, and at Rexall it was $15.99. Happened to be at Shoppers one day, noticed that there it was $14.99. Was very excited that there was a $2 discount. However, when I went to Walmart, that same shampoo was only $9.99. So here I am thinking this is a great deal. I found it, the shampoo that I like at an excellent discount, pardon me, and I go to the dollar store a couple weeks later. I noticed that they sold the same shampoo at the dollar store for a much smaller amount of money. Was $4. So I bought that. And I know that some people have challenged that, thinking around the dollar store tends to buy seconds or the quality of the product isn't as good. My hair didn't seem to know the difference. So I felt really good that I was able to get what I needed at a much cheaper price. So being able to shop around and looking for ways where you can cut your cost. That being said, also needing to balance, now if you have more money, will that increase some urges? We can talk a little bit about that. So with continuing with decreasing access, you can have your money that you get directly deposited, so you don't have that cash in hand, right? So that it can eliminate or reduce one trigger around money. Having your bills for automatic payment. So OW, you can talk to your OW worker and they can actually have your rent paid directly, and they can support you through that process if it's appropriate to do so. Being accountable to your spending. So having somebody who meets your criteria of supportive, healthy, and trustworthy, they can actually help you to control your money. Maybe for a short period of time, they can have allowance. They can provide you with a small allowance, as well as accountability, right? So you'll have a conversation once a week, once a day, to talk about your spending. And they can ask you, where did your money go? It helps you to be accountable for the money that you spent. When we're not accountable to our money, we are likely to spend a little bit more than maybe we intended, because nobody's going to question us. Nobody's going to be concerned about it. So there's no accountability or consequences for that behavior. I talked earlier about identifying safe amounts of cash to carry. So starting with a small amount and possibly increasing a little bit weekly or bi-weekly to kind of see how much is enough and how much is too much. In the experience that I have working with clients, some of the feedback that they have provided with me is gift cards. Gift cards allow them to have access to the goods and services that they need or want without being triggered to bypass and go to see their dealer. Right? It's not foolproof, but it's one safeguard that they can put into place. We often get these phone calls from our credit card company, and these phone calls sometimes go like this. Hey, you're such a valued customer. We are going to give you an increase in your Visa and or MasterCard or whatever credit card that you have. You are such a valued customer. And when we struggle with things like self-esteem or self-worth, maybe we're lonely or maybe we're feeling isolated in this world, we can feel that increase in that self-esteem, that somebody values us enough to give us something. Right? Sometimes in that position, it's hard for us to say no. Right? So they call us up and they say, you're such a valued customer. We'd like to increase your credit limit. And we might say, wow, thank you. I appreciate that, yes. But being able to slow our reaction down, think about some of the consequences that may come impact us with a higher credit limit. In that same phone call, we would be welcome to say, actually, I would like to have my credit card limit lowered. The more we make, the more we tend to spend. We can lower those cash withdrawals, right? The daily limits, the weekly limits, getting rid of those cash advances, right? So those can make us feel like we actually have more money than what we do, but they come with a price. And we usually have to pay either a monthly fee for those cash advances and or overdraft, or we have to spend like a daily fee, a fee whenever it's actually accessed or used. If we were to add those up monthly or yearly, we would notice a big chunk of our money going towards those cash advances or those overdraft fees. Again, if somebody meets your criteria of safe, healthy, and trustworthy, they could be a second signature on savings. If one of your goal is to put a little bit of money away, maybe for a vacation, maybe for a special something that you want, having access to that savings can put us at risk. So having a second person on our savings can be helpful in the sense that we can't just go to the bank and take it out. We have to call that person, they have to come to the bank with us. If they're our accountability person, we would want them to say, hey, what are you using this money for? So sometimes the inconvenience of all of that can lead us to not be bothered to take that money out. So again, another way to keep us safe and protect us from a lapse or a relapse. Taking away our ATM ability. So only banking during the banking hours, which removes our 24-hour access to money. Again, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, if we have this sudden urge or we're triggered to go and use, if we don't have access to money, it's one more safeguard in place. Pardon me. What are some of those high risk times? So paydays, right? If you're getting paid monthly, it might be, pardon me. It might be when you get that large chunk in your bank account, and you might see that, and it could bring up those feelings. Whether it's ODSP, OW, maybe your pension during COVID-19, it could be with the CERB fund or or EI. Birthdays can also be a high stressful time, or in any kind of celebration where there's the potential of money being kind of provided to you or giving to you. Being behind on bills can also be a really high risk time. I can't pay my bills anyways. I'm really stressed about this. What have I done to manage stress in the past? And you may have gambled. An opportunity to get away from the feelings of discomfort, the feelings of pain, is to use. Being behind on bills is a sense of pain, a sense of discomfort. Those annual bills, those bills that tend to sneak up on us that we may have forgotten. So if we have to pay back our income tax or our property taxes, those can be really stressful times. Getting unexpected money. So our HST, maybe an inheritance that we didn't expect if someone passed away and left us some money, or a tax return. Think about other times when you might be at higher risk. If you can identify those times, if you can make a list of those times, then you can maybe even put them on your calendar, then they've gone from being unexpected to expected. Some things we don't have control of, like an inheritance or money that people have given us without us expecting it, but making note of the ones that we can anticipate can help reduce the risk. If not eliminate it, at least reduce it. So thinking back in the last 24 hours, give yourself a moment to think back around around that time. How much did you spend? Did you buy a hamburger? Did you buy a coffee? Was it a need? Did you need gas? Did you need to buy baby formula or diapers? Did you need to buy cough medicine? Or was it a want? A bag of licorice? How much did you spend? Looking back, would you have made a different choice now that that 24 hours is over? Although we can't go back and change it, we can use the information from yesterday to move us forward into tomorrow. Could I have eaten at home yesterday? Did I need to spend that money on a hamburger? Could that money have gone somewhere else? It's not about feeling shame or guilt from the money that you spend. It's about being able to critically think about the money that you do spend and then ask yourself a very important question. Was that a need or a want? Before you're able to even answer that question, it's important to identify what is a need versus what is a want. So needs are typically our basic. So food, shelter, and clothing. Those are things that are our needs. Our wants are kind of like the frills, the fluff, the icing on the cake. So being able to make a list of what are some of the needs that you have and what are some of the wants that you have. So when we're looking at budgeting, I know it can sometimes feel overwhelming, but you don't have to go through that process alone. A simple budget can help you get your debt under control, or it can identify if you need further support. It's easier than you think. So there's many different places where you can get budgets or simple budgets online. A few of them are on here, like the Household Budget Worksheet by Kiplinger, and also TD Bank. They have budgeting tools on their website that can be helpful for you. Credit Counseling Society at 1-888-527-8999. They can help you with initial budgeting in their sessions, and they can help you assess all of the options that might be available to you. They do have a debt management program, and they can help you with debt settlement. So again, you don't have to do this alone. That's no fee for the first session at the Credit Counseling Society, and they are very helpful in providing you with some tips and some tools to get through maybe a stressful time. Write that plan out. When we write it out, it's more likely to commit it to our memory and to our thinking and to create a pathway in our brain. When we just think about the plan without actually putting it down, we're more likely to lose some specific details. List on all your income. So whether you are working or if it's OW or ODSP or pension, maybe you're getting spousal support or you are getting child support, list all of that income. That's going to give you the most accurate representation of how much you're bringing in per month. So now, after you do that, separately list your expenses. How much are you paying monthly for rent or food, clothing, your cell phone? How about cable? Your Wi-Fi. List all of those things and how much they are. It might take a little bit of digging and work to figure out how much that bill actually is per month. When you list all of those, you can add up to see how much money you need each month. And are you meeting that requirement? And where are some changes that you can make? So the income minus the expenses is how much you have left. Like I said earlier, the first few months will show you where your money is being spent and potentially where money can actually be saved. Again, if you are going to choose to save a little bit of that money, it's valuable to have a second person on that savings account, so you have to be accountable. So reduce the risk and reduce the access to just taking it out whenever you want. Sometimes it really feels impossible to make your money go far enough, but remembering to put your basic needs first, and again, identifying what are your wants and what are your needs. When you're stretching your dollar, purchasing those products like the one I shared about the hair product, right? At some of those more cost-effective stores, like the dollar store, or Walmart if you need to, or whatever store that you choose that fits into your family philosophy that gives you the best outcome for your dollar. Accessing in our community free services. So they have a free service at the London Employment Health Center. The phone number's there, where you can actually get your own extension. So if you don't have phone, or maybe your phone's is broken or not available to you temporarily, you can actually get an extension with a voicemail that you can have access to, so that you're not missing out on appointments, or you're not missing out on pieces of your life that are important if for whatever reason you don't have availability to a phone. This is a free service. You know, attending those local festivals when they're safe and comfortable to do so, attending at the library, being able to access their free services. If you drive a vehicle, give your car a break. Find ways to combine trips and walk when possible, and carpool. Not only will it give your car a break and help to save gas and maybe wear and tear on your vehicle, but exercise can make you feel better. It can increase our natural brain chemicals, our natural feel-good chemicals. Stay connected with family and people. Maybe they want to go for a walk with you. Maybe they have a trip to the grocery store that they'd like to go to. Be creative in your kitchen. Right? Eating out is very, very, very expensive. And there are some times when it's a nice treat. But on the other days, using up all what's in your pantry. Right? Be mindful when you buy things. I know I have bought things that ended up at the back of the cupboard that I thought for sure I would use, and then never actually ended up using them. So basically, it's not a good use of money. Use the food banks. That's what they're there for. If you're struggling, if you need that food, look up the local food banks and access them. They can be really, really helpful. Buying the groceries at discount stores. I just listed a couple options, but there's much more out there. So places like No Frills and Food Basics, they tend to, of course, not have the frills and just the food. So although they might not have all of the variety of those more expensive grocery stores, they can meet your basic needs. Buying a gift card for a grocery store. If money is not something that you can have in your pocket, buying that gift card for your favorite grocery store can help you to feel empowered and still independent, but minimize your risk. Again, the Flip and the Rebate app can be really helpful if you're going out grocery shopping anyways. I know I used bacon earlier. I only tend to buy bacon when I can find it at its cheapest price. Then I might buy 3 or 4 of them and put them in the freezer so that I have bacon available when it's not on sale, because I did buy it when it was on sale. Another great one with that is cheese. You know, if you're someone like me who likes cheese, buying cheese when it's on sale and freezing it can stretch your dollar. Freedom is possible. Right? It is possible to get your debt under control. It is possible to work out a budget where you're able to have some money for spending, have some money for paying bills, and have a little bit of money for savings. I hope you have enjoyed this supportive information sessions, and thank you for joining me today. Have a good day.